Have you ever felt invisible in your own home? Not just overlooked for a moment, or passed over in a conversation, but truly unseen, as if the people you love most can't even sense the ache inside you. It's early spring in Los Angeles, and the sky hangs heavy and gray, clouds pressed low over the palm trees lining the quiet streets. The city hums awake outside, but inside apartment 2B, the world feels muffled, as if wrapped in thick cotton. Marisol Benitez sits on the edge of her neatly made bed, elbows on her knees, a faded family photo pressed between her trembling hands. Her cheeks are swollen from silent crying, eyes red, lips quivering, a single tear drying just beneath her chin. She stares at the photo, a smiling trio. Marisol, her son Nicholas, her daughter Camila. Her now ex-husband Diego stands just outside the frame, his arm cropped off at the edge. She runs her thumb over Nicolas's younger face in the picture, his hair longer, his smile wide. Camilla's head is tilted toward her brother, her hands clasped as if she's about to burst into laughter. That was only 2 years ago, a lifetime before the divorce, before their home became a collection of closed doors and unfinished conversations. Marisol's phone buzzes on the nightstand. The time reads 6:18 a.m. She sighs, a shallow, resigned exhale, then stands, smoothing her navy blue pajama pants. Outside her window, a car horn blares, echoing between apartment buildings. She pulls the blinds halfway up, letting in the weak morning light, the kind that makes everything look a little faded, as if color itself is tired. In the cramped kitchen, the tile is cold beneath her bare feet. The counters are cluttered. A cereal box, a stack of overdue bills, a chipped mug that says, "World's Best Mom," a birthday gift from Camilla, back when she still believed it. The refrigerator hums steadily, its magnets holding up a collage of old-school drawings and a calendar peppered with appointments. Nicholas, soccer practice. Camilla, dentist. Rent due. Marisol moves quietly, setting 2 bowls on the counter. She pours cereal for Camilla, oatmeal for Nicholas. The spoon in her hand clinks softly against the bowl, a small, steady rhythm to drown out the silence. She glances at the hallway, where the doors to her children's rooms are still shut. She steps to Nicholas's door and knocks, gentle but insistent. "Nico, breakfast is ready." A pause, then a muffled, "Okay," barely audible over the faint thump of music leaking from his headphones. Marisol hesitates, her hand lingering on the doorknob, but she lets it go. Camila's door swings open with a creak. The 9-year-old emerges, her curly hair wild and sleep-mussed. She rubs her eyes, blinking up at her mother. There's a flicker of concern in Camila's gaze, a child's intuition, sharp and clear. "Morning, Mama." Camila wraps her arms around Marisol's waist, squeezing tight. Marisol forces a small, grateful smile and gently smooths the hair from her daughter's face. "Good morning, mi amor." She kisses the top of Camila's head, breathing in the faint scent of strawberry shampoo. "Did you sleep well?" Camila nods, but she's watching her mother closely, her brow furrowing with an unspoken question. Marisol looks away, busying herself with pouring milk. Nicholas appears moments later, his tall frame hunched, black hoodie zipped to his chin. He keeps his eyes glued to his phone, earbuds wedged in his ears. He slides into his chair, not meeting anyone's gaze. "Buenos dias, Nico," Marisol says, her voice soft but hopeful. He mutters something, maybe morning, maybe nothing at all. He stirs his oatmeal, never once looking up. Breakfast is a quiet affair. Camilla chatters about a class project, her voice bright, trying to fill the silence. She waves a crayon drawing of a butterfly, hoping for enthusiasm. Marisol musters a smile, but it doesn't quite reach her eyes. Nicholas barely reacts, lost in his phone, his spoon circling the bowl in endless loops. A heaviness settles over the table, the kind that makes every sound seem louder. The scrape of a chair, the clink of a spoon, the distant siren wailing down Olympic Boulevard. Marisol steals glances at her children, searching their faces for some sign, any sign, that they see her pain. But Nicholas is a fortress, eyes hidden beneath his dark lashes. Camilla, sensing the tension, grows quieter, her small hands twisting the hem of her shirt. After breakfast, Marisol hustles the kids into their jackets. She checks their backpacks, finds Camilla's water bottle, reminds Nicholas about his science project. She's careful, attentive, desperate in her own way to hold things together. As the kids head out the door, Camilla skipping ahead, Nicholas trailing behind, Marisol stands in the entryway, watching them disappear into the swirl of students on the sidewalk. The apartment is suddenly, achingly silent. She returns to the kitchen, alone with the half-empty bowls and a growing pile of dishes. She runs the water, scrubbing at a stubborn bit of oatmeal, her hands shaking. The weight in her chest is a familiar ache, a hollow, persistent longing. She turns off the tap, leans against the counter, and presses her palms to her eyes. The question echoes in her mind, louder than ever. Will my kids ever notice how much I'm hurting? By 8:10 a.m., the city is in motion. Marisol threads her way through the busy streets, the air thick with exhaust and the scent of brewing coffee. She rides the metro downtown, pressed shoulder to shoulder with strangers, but feeling more alone than ever. The insurance agency where she works sits on the 13th floor of a glassy office tower, all chrome and polished stone. The lobby is bright, bustling, voices bouncing off marble walls, phones ringing, the clatter of heels on tile. Marisol slips past the receptionist with a practiced nod, her smile polite but distant. In the break room, Gabriella, Gabby Soto, her closest friend at the office, greets her with a cheerful wave. Gabby is the kind of woman who radiates warmth, with a ready laugh and a knack for remembering everyone's birthday. She's already pouring coffee, her gold hoop earrings catching the fluorescent light. "Morning, Marisol. Want some? You look like you could use it." Marisol accepts the mug, wrapping her hands around it for comfort. She attempts a smile, but Gabby's eyes narrow. She's not fooled. "Long night?" Gabby asks gently. Marisol shrugs, staring into her coffee. "Just a lot on my mind." Gabby reaches out, squeezing her arm. "If you ever want to talk, I'm here. Really." Marisol nods, but the words stick in her throat. She's grateful for Gabby's kindness, but the idea of unraveling her pain, of exposing the raw, jagged parts, feels impossible. She spent months trying to be strong, trying to hold everything together for her children, for herself. Letting go, even for a moment, seems like a luxury she can't afford. The morning passes in a blur of paperwork and phone calls. Her boss, Daniel Kim, drops by her cubicle, his expression serious but not unkind. "Marisol, can I see you in my office for a minute?" Her stomach twists, but she nods, gathering her notepad. Daniel's office is neat, the walls lined with framed certificates and photos of his family, smiling faces, sunlit vacations. He gestures for her to sit. "I just wanted to check in," he says, voice low. "You've seemed a little distracted lately. If there's anything you need, let me know. We're a team here." Marisol forces another smile, thanking him, promising she'll be fine. She returns to her desk, her head pounding with guilt. She knows she's been slipping, missing details, forgetting deadlines. The pressure to perform, to keep her job, feels crushing. But the act she puts on each day, the mask of composure, grows heavier with every hour. Back at home, the afternoon light filters through the living room window, illuminating dust motes that swirl in the air. Marisol's mother, Elena Rivera, sits on the couch, knitting needles clicking rhythmically. Elena is a sturdy woman with silver-streaked hair pulled into a neat bun, her voice calm, her advice practical. Camila sits cross-legged on the floor nearby, coloring in a sketchbook. She looks up as Marisol enters, her eyes searching her mother's face. "Abuela made cookies," Camila announces, holding up a chocolate chip masterpiece. "Can we save some for Nico?" Marisol nods, dropping her purse on the kitchen table. She glances at Nicholas's closed door at the end of the hall. He's been home for half an hour, but the music from his room is already thumping, a barrier between him and the rest of the world. Elena catches Marisol's eye, her expression gentle. "He'll come around, mija. Give him time." Marisol nods, but inside, doubt gnaws at her. How much time? How many days of silence, of walking on eggshells before something breaks? She busies herself with chores, folding laundry, paying bills, prepping dinner. She moves through the apartment on autopilot, her mind replaying fragments of old arguments, missed moments, a highlight reel of failure. When dinner is ready, she calls her children to the table. Camilla arrives first, chattering about a funny story from school. Marisol listens, her response is automatic. "That's nice, sweetie." "Oh, really?" But her heart isn't in it. Nicholas slips in silently, head down, picking at his food. Conversation stutters, then dies. The sounds of forks scraping plates fill the void. After dinner, Camilla helps clear the table, humming softly. Nicholas vanishes into his room, door clicking shut behind him. Marisol stands in the hallway, her hand hovering at Nicholas's door, wanting to knock, to reach through the wall he's built. But she can't find the words. Elena gathers her things to leave, pressing a kiss to Marisol's cheek. "You're doing your best, hija. Remember, you're not alone." But as the door closes behind her mother, Marisol feels the weight of her solitude settle in again, a heavy cloak she can't shrug off. The night falls quietly. The city outside is a mosaic of glowing windows and distant sirens. Marisol sits at the kitchen table, a mug of chamomile tea cooling beside her. The apartment is still, save for the faint sound of Camilla brushing her teeth and the low murmur of Nicholas's music. She looks down at her hands, knuckles white, fingers trembling. The ache in her chest builds, pressing against her ribs. Tears prick at the corners of her eyes, hot and insistent. She presses her palms to her face, fighting the urge to sob aloud. She doesn't want her children to hear, doesn't want them to know how close she is to breaking. She asks herself, again and again, will my kids ever notice how much I'm hurting? Outside, the city moves on. Cars passing, neighbors laughing in the hallway, the distant whine of a train. But inside the apartment, Marisol sits alone in the dim light, the unanswered question echoing in the silence. She wipes her cheeks, steels herself for another day, and waits for a sign that someone, anyone, can see her. As the clock ticks past midnight, Marisol remains seated, her gaze fixed on the old family photo propped against the salt shaker. The faces in the picture smile back at her, frozen in time, untouched by sorrow. But here, in the quiet kitchen, Marisol's tears fall silently, unseen. And for now, she cries alone. Morning light filters weakly through the blinds as Marisol Benitez unlocks her phone to check the time. 6:37 a.m. The apartment is still, save for the distant sound of water running. The kids are getting ready, but each in their own world. Marisol's hands shake slightly as she pours coffee into her mug, the chipped one with sunflowers painted on the side, a gift from Camilla last Mother's Day. She tries to steady herself, takes a deep breath, and glances over at the calendar hanging crookedly by the fridge. Meetings, bills, Camilla's dance class, Nicholas's soccer practice. Each day crammed with obligations, none of them truly hers. Camilla appears first, bright-eyed and chatty, her backpack nearly as big as she is. "Mommy, can I have the big spoon today?" she asks, peering into the pot of oatmeal steaming on the stove. "Of course, mi amor," Marisol replies, forcing a small smile as she digs for the oversized utensil. Camilla's enthusiasm is a balm, but it stings too, a reminder of the lightness Marisol can't quite reach anymore. Nicholas shuffles in next, earbuds wedged deep, hoodie up despite the mild weather. He doesn't acknowledge either of them, grabbing a banana and heading straight for the door. "Nico, breakfast," Marisol calls, voice hopeful but thin. He pauses, eyes on the floor. "Not hungry," he mutters, and is gone before she can say anything else. Camilla eats quietly, swinging her legs under the table. Marisol watches her for a moment, then turns away, fighting the urge to cry before the day has even begun. The city is slick with rain as Marisol boards the metro downtown. Streets glisten beneath passing cars, and pedestrians huddle under shared umbrellas, their faces drawn and hurried. The train is crowded but silent, the kind of silence that comes from exhaustion, not peace. Marisol clutches her purse tightly, counting the stops until her transfer, her mind already spinning with worries. Did she sign Camila's permission slip? Did she schedule Nicolas's dentist appointment? Will the rent clear this month? By the time she reaches the insurance agency, she's already tired. The lobby buzzes with activity, phones ringing, printers whirring, the scent of burnt coffee hanging in the air. Marisol's desk is by the window, overlooking a parking lot dotted with puddles. She sets her bag down and takes a moment to collect herself, smoothing her skirt and tying her hair back with trembling fingers. "Morning, Marie," calls Gabriela Soto from the next cubicle, her voice warm and teasing. Gabby has a way of making everyone feel lighter, even on gray days. "Morning, Gabby," Marisol replies, her voice barely above a whisper. Gabby wheels her chair closer. "You okay? You look tired." Marisol nods, not trusting herself to say more. Within minutes, Daniel Kim, their manager, passes by with his usual brisk efficiency. He pauses, glancing at Marisol's desk, then at her. "Can I see you in my office for a minute?" he asks, his tone polite but clipped. She follows him, nerves twisting in her stomach. Inside Daniel's glass-walled office, the city glows faintly in the background, skyscrapers shrouded in mist. Daniel gestures for her to sit. "Marisol, I wanted to check in," he begins, fingers steepled on the desk. "I've noticed you've seemed distracted lately. Your numbers are down and you missed 2 client follow-ups this week." Marisol's cheeks flush. "I'm sorry, Daniel. Things have been a little complicated at home. I'll catch up, I promise." He sighs, but his expression softens. "I get it. Just let me know if you need some time, okay? We're a team here." She nods, managing a grateful smile, but inside she feels the walls closing in. She can't afford to lose this job. Not now. Lunch is a blur. Gabby shares her homemade empanadas and tries to coax Marisol into conversation. "You know, you can talk to me about anything," she says gently, eyes kind but searching. Marisol shakes her head, picking at her food. "I don't want to be a burden. Everyone has problems." "Yeah, but not everyone has to go through them alone," Gabby says, her voice firm. "Let me in, Mari. You don't have to be so strong all the time." Marisol forces a smile, but her eyes dart away. The truth is, she doesn't know how to open up anymore. Too many years spent holding it together for everyone else. After work, the rain has stopped, but the air is thick and cool. Marisol's shoes splash through puddles as she walks the 4 blocks to the after-school center where Camilla waits. The city feels both familiar and foreign. Murals on cinder-block walls, the distant wail of a siren, a father chasing his giggling toddler beneath the shelter of an awning. Life continues all around her, but Marisol moves through it like a ghost. Camila skips out to greet her, arms wide. "Mommy, look what I made." She holds up a crayon drawing, stick figures, a yellow sun, a house with blue windows. "It's beautiful, Camilla," Marisol says, hugging her daughter tight. She blinks back tears, hoping Camilla doesn't notice. They ride home together, Camilla chattering about her day, about friends and games and snack time. Marisol nods and smiles, but her mind drifts to Nicholas, to the bills, to the mess waiting in the apartment. Back home, Marisol finds Nicolas in his room, door closed, music filtering out in muffled thumps. She taps gently. "Can I come in?" she asks, voice tentative. No response. She tries again. "Nico, I made your favorite tonight. Arroz con pollo. Come eat with us?" A beat of silence, then a barely audible, "I'm not hungry." Marisol lingers, hand on the doorknob, then sighs and walks away. Dinner is quiet. Camilla eats in little bites, telling stories between mouthfuls. Marisol listens, grateful for the sound of her daughter's voice, even as her heart aches for the silence from down the hall. Afterward, She slips a note under Nicolas's door. I love you. I'm here if you want to talk. Mommy. There's no reply. Later that night, Marisol sits at the kitchen table, sorting through bills, her eyes blurring with exhaustion. The apartment feels even smaller at night, the city's glow muted by heavy curtains. She can hear Nicholas's keyboard clicking, Camilla humming softly as she colors in the living room. The phone rings. Her mother, Elena. Hola, hija, Elena says, her voice warm but laced with concern. How are you holding up? Marisol hesitates, then lies. We're fine, Mama. Just tired. Elena pauses. Let me take Camilla this weekend. You need a break. Maybe Nicholas could come too? Marisol's throat tightens. Thank you, Mama. I'll ask them. But she knows Nicholas won't go. He barely leaves his room anymore. As she hangs up, Marisol glances at the family photo on the fridge, smiling faces from a different time, before everything fell apart. She wonders if her children will ever look at her the same way again. The days blur together. At work, Marisol's mistakes pile up. Emails unanswered, paperwork misplaced. Daniel calls her in again, concern etched into his features. I'm worried about you, he says. You're one of my best people, but you're not yourself lately. Is there anything I can do? She shakes her head, ashamed. I'm sorry, Daniel. I just need to focus. He nods. Take care of yourself, Marisol. We need you. At home, she tries harder, leaving sweet notes for the kids, planning their favorite meals, offering to help with homework. Camilla responds with hugs and smiles, but Nicholas remains distant, slipping in and out like a shadow. Saturday morning, Camilla packs a little suitcase for her grandmother's house, excitement in her every movement. Nicholas stays behind, headphones on, eyes glued to a screen. Marisol stands in the doorway, watching him, longing to reach across the distance. Nico, do you want to come with us to Abuela's? He shakes his head without looking up. I'm fine here. She wants to cry, but she just nods and closes the door gently. Sunday evening, the apartment is quiet except for the hum of the TV. Camilla is still at Elena's, and Nicolas sits in his room, the door cracked just enough for a sliver of blue light to spill into the hallway. Marisol stands in the bathroom, the mirror streaked with condensation. She turns on the faucet to muffle her sobs, tears slipping down her cheeks in silent rivulets. She covers her mouth, trying not to make a sound. In the living room, cartoons play, laughter rising and falling. Her children, lost in their own worlds, don't notice the pain behind the closed door. That night, Marisol lies awake, staring at the ceiling. She wonders how long she can keep pretending, how long she can carry the weight alone. The city pulses outside, endless and indifferent. Her thoughts turn over and over. Am I failing them? Will they ever see how much I'm hurting? As the rain begins again, tapping softly against the window, Marisol's voice echoes quietly in the dark. Have you ever felt like you're trying everything and nothing works? If you've ever felt alone, or like the people you love can't see the pain you're carrying, hit subscribe and stay with me. There's hope ahead, even when it's hard to see. In the quiet, Marisol wipes her tears, stands, and smooths her blouse. She steels herself for another week, another day pretending everything is okay. In the living room, her children sit side by side, laughter and light spilling from the TV screen, unaware of the storm just down the hall. And Marisol wonders, not for the first time, if they'll ever see her. Not just as the person who makes breakfast or pays the bills, but as someone who hurts, who loves, who needs them too. She closes the bathroom door softly behind her, her reflection in the hallway mirror blurred by tears and hope, unresolved. The story isn't over yet. The morning sun filtered weakly through Marisol's kitchen window, painting long stripes of pale light across the cluttered countertop. The clock blinked 7:16 a.m., already late. A cold, uneaten quesadilla sat on a chipped plate, Camilla's favorite, now limp and untouched. The apartment felt even smaller today, the air thick with words unsaid and pain unacknowledged. Marisol's hands trembled as she pulled on her navy blazer, the same one she'd worn yesterday and the day before. Her phone buzzed with reminders, emails, overdue bills, a calendar alert. Camilla's school play, 9 a.m. For a fleeting moment, her breath caught in her throat. She had promised Camilla, circled the date in red on their wall calendar, tucked the program into her purse twice. But now, with her chest tight and mind foggy, the day's demands pressed in from all sides. Nicholas shuffled into the kitchen, hair unbrushed, hoodie pulled over his brow. He didn't look at her. He hadn't in weeks. Instead, he grabbed a granola bar and slipped his headphones on, music pulsing just loud enough for her to hear the faint tick of bass. "Morning, Nico," Marisol said, voice thin. No response. Camilla appeared next, backpack swinging, hair in pigtails tied with mismatched ribbons. She paused by the table, eyes flicking from her mother to the untouched food. "Mom, did you see my costume? Miss Rivas said I need to be there by 8:30. Marisol nodded, heart pounding. "I'll be there, mija, I promise." But as Camila left with Elena, her abuela, Marisol's pulse raced with panic. She had a meeting with Daniel at 9:15, the third time in 2 weeks. He'd made it clear, one more slip-up and her job was on the line. Torn between obligations, Marisol stood frozen, keys clenched so tightly her knuckles blanched. The short drive to downtown LA blurred past, headlights smeared by the morning drizzle. Traffic crawled. Her mind clanged with guilt. Camilla's hopeful eyes, Nicolas's silent retreat, her own exhaustion ringing in her ears. At the office, Daniel waited by her desk, lips pressed in a tight line. The city skyline glittered beyond the rain-streaked windows, but the room felt airless. "Marisol, my office. Now," he said, voice clipped. Inside, she perched at the edge of the chair, knees pressed together. Daniel closed the door, sighing as he glanced at her personnel file. "I know things have been tough, Marisol, but I need you here. Focused. I can't keep covering for you. The numbers from your last 3 reports, this isn't you." She swallowed hard, gaze fixed on her lap. I'm trying, Daniel, I really am." He softened, just slightly. "I know. But you're out of chances. If this doesn't turn around by Friday." He let the threat hang in the air. Marisol nodded, numb. The rest of the morning crawled by in a haze of paperwork and forced smiles. When her phone buzzed, she glanced down. 3 missed calls from Elena, 1 text from Camila. "Where are you, Mom? The show's starting." Her stomach dropped. She'd failed again. By the time she arrived at the school, the hallways were empty, the sound of children's laughter fading down the corridor. Camilla stood by the exit, still in her butterfly wings, tears streaking her pink cheeks. Elena hovered nearby, arms crossed tight. Camilla looked up. "You promised, Mom." Her voice was small, trembling. "I know, baby. I'm so sorry, Marisol reached for her daughter, but Camilla shrank away, wings drooping. Elena's voice was gentle but firm. "Mija, you can't keep doing this." "I know, Mama, I know." Back home, Marisol sank onto the couch, hands covering her face. She heard Nicholas slam his bedroom door, felt Camilla's soft sobs from down the hall. The apartment was silent except for the hum of the refrigerator, a silence so thick it pressed on her chest like a weight. Gabby called just after sunset. "Hey, Marisol, you okay? You sounded off at work." Marisol tried to sound normal, but her voice cracked. "I missed Camilla's play. Daniel's threatening to fire me. Nicholas won't even look at me. I feel like I'm failing at everything." Gabby's voice was warm, steady. "You're not alone. You know that, right? Everyone's struggling. But you have to let them in. Your kids, me, let us see you." Marisol swallowed, wiping her eyes. For a moment, she almost told Gabby everything, but the words stuck. After dinner, she knocked on Nicholas's door. No answer. "Nico, please. Can I come in?" Silence. Then, from behind the door, "Why do you even care? You're never here. You say you will be, but you're not." His voice was sharp, brittle. Marisol's heart squeezed. I'm trying, mijo. I know I mess up. I want to help. The door cracked open, just enough for his face to appear, eyes rimmed red. You always say that. But it's not just you. Dad left. You left too, even if you're still here. She knelt, voice hoarse. I know it feels that way. I never wanted you to feel alone. He shook his head, closing the door softly. Marisol pressed her forehead to the wood and let a silent sob escape. That night, after she tucked Camila in, her daughter twisting away, refusing a goodnight kiss, Marisol wandered to the bathroom. She turned on the faucet to drown out her tears, staring at her own reflection. Her eyes looked older, hollowed by sleepless nights. She pressed her palms to her cheeks, wishing she could disappear. Down the hall, Nicholas's voice floated through the apartment, raised, angry. I don't care, Camilla! She doesn't care about us! Camilla's reply was tearful. She does! She just can't show it right now. Marisol's heart broke anew. She crept back to her room, curling on the bed, clutching the old family photo. The ache in her chest was a physical thing, hot, suffocating. The next morning, rain pelted the windows as Marisol shuffled into the kitchen, dark circles under her eyes. She found Nicholas and Camila sitting at the table, both silent. The air was tense, brittle. Neither looked up. Breakfast? She asked, forcing a smile. Nicholas shrugged, pushing his cereal around the bowl. Whatever. Camila nodded, lips pressed tight. The day passed in a fog. At work, Daniel avoided her gaze. Gabby dropped by her desk with a coffee, squeezing her hand. Call me later, okay? By the time Marisol returned home, darkness had settled over the city. The apartment was eerily quiet. She set down her bag, calling out. No response. Panic flared. Had something happened? She found Nicholas and Camilla in the living room, the television off, their faces illuminated by the soft glow of a table lamp. Between them lay a stack of torn papers, her notes to them, every little message she'd left over the past weeks. Dinner's ready. Have a good day. Proud of you. Unread, unacknowledged, now scattered on the coffee table. Nicholas looked up, eyes brimming. Did you really mean these? Marisol's throat tightened. Yes, every word. Camilla picked up a crumpled note. Why didn't you just tell us how sad you were? Marisol's breath hitched. She sank to her knees in front of them, unable to speak. Nicholas's face twisted with confusion and anger. You act like nothing's wrong, but it's obvious. You cry every night. We hear you, Mom. For a moment, the room was still. The only sound was Marisol's ragged breathing. Camilla crawled into her lap, wrapping tiny arms around her neck. We don't want you to be alone, Mommy. Tears streamed down Marisol's cheeks. Hot, silent, unstoppable. Nicolas' expression softened. He wiped at his eyes with the sleeve of his sweatshirt. I'm sorry, Marisol whispered. I thought I had to protect you from this, from me. But I'm so tired of pretending. Camilla clung tighter. We want to see you, Mom. All of you. The payout landed like a gentle wave. For the first time, Marisol felt seen. Not as the perfect, unbreakable mother she'd tried to be, but as herself. Messy, hurting, still standing. Her children leaned in, tears mingling, hearts open. In that fragile, honest moment, their little family began to stitch itself back together. Not perfectly, not all at once, but for the first time, truly together. The next morning, sunlight finally breaks through the gray Los Angeles clouds, filtering in pale gold through Marisol's bedroom window. The city outside is waking up, horns echoing faintly, but inside apartment 2B, everything is still. Marisol sits at the kitchen table, a mug of coffee cooling in her hands, gazing out at the gentle sway of jacaranda blossoms on the sidewalk below. She listens to the hum of the refrigerator, the distant sound of a neighbor's TV, waiting for the familiar footsteps of her children. For weeks she has moved through her days like a ghost, doing what needed to be done, going through the motions, but feeling hollow and unseen. The pain of the divorce, the weight of single motherhood, and the distance growing between her and her children have pressed down on her until she could barely breathe. She's tried everything. Handwritten notes tucked into lunchboxes, home-cooked dinners, forced smiles at the end of long workdays. But nothing has reached them. Not Nicholas, who's grown quiet and angry, or Camila, who escapes to her grandmother's house and clings to Marisol in brief, worried bursts. Yesterday, everything finally broke. Camilla's disappointment after her missed school event lingered in the apartment like a shadow. Nicolet's words, "You're the reason our family fell apart," echoed through Marisol's mind all night. She'd barely slept, replaying the scene in her head, feeling the sting of failure. Now, as morning light fills the apartment, Marisol realizes that something has to change. She can't keep pretending everything is fine. She can't keep hiding her pain from her children, or herself. She hears Nicolas's door creak open, his heavy steps in the hallway. He enters the kitchen, avoiding her eyes, grabbing a box of cereal from the cabinet. Camilla follows, her hair still tousled from sleep, clutching her favorite stuffed rabbit. Marisol takes a shaky breath. "Can you both sit down for a minute?" Her voice is softer than usual, trembling at the edges. Nicholas hesitates, glancing at Camilla, then shrugs and sits. Camilla climbs onto her chair, watching her mother with wide, uncertain eyes. Marisol pushes her mug aside. "I know things have been really hard lately, for all of us," she begins, her words halting but honest. "I haven't been okay. I've tried to hide it because I didn't want to make things harder for you. But I think I made it worse by pretending." Nicolas's brow furrows, and Camilla's grip tightens on her rabbit. Marisol's hands tremble in her lap. "I'm sorry I missed your event yesterday, Camilla. I'm sorry I haven't been here for you the way you both need me to be." She turns to Nicholas, her eyes shining. "And I'm sorry for everything that's happened with the divorce. I know I've made mistakes." For a moment, there is only silence. The hum of the city, the soft clatter of a spoon. Camilla's chair scrapes back. She moves to her mother's side and wraps her arms around Marisol's waist, pressing her face into her side. "I still love you, Mama," she whispers. Marisol's tears fall freely now, but it's different this time. The release is gentle, not desperate. She runs her hands through Camilla's hair, looking at her son. Nicholas stares at his cereal, shoulders rigid. But then he looks up, and Marisol sees something flicker in his eyes, something softer, more vulnerable. "I miss Dad," he says, voice cracking. "But I miss you too. You're always tired or sad. You never talk to us anymore." Marisol nods, wiping her cheeks. "I know. I've been scared to let you see how sad I am, but maybe we need to start talking about it. Maybe we can help each other." Nicholas is quiet, chewing his lip, but then he nods, just once. Camila leans back to look up at Marisol. "Can we do something together? Just us? Like before?" A tentative smile breaks through Marisol's tears. "Yes, I would love that. It's not a magic fix. The ache is still there, the wounds still fresh. But in that small, sunlit kitchen, something begins to shift." Later that day, after work, Marisol picks up the kids from Elena's house. Instead of heading straight home, she drives them to Echo Park. The late afternoon sun sets the lake aglow, and the jacaranda petals float down onto the path. They walk together, slowly at first, conversation awkward. But as they sit by the water, Camilla starts telling stories about her friends at school. Nicholas asks Marisol about her day. Really asks, for the first time in weeks. They feed ducks, laugh at their clumsy waddling, and Marisol feels a warmth she thought she'd lost. She tells Nicholas and Camilla how scared she's felt, about being alone, about not being enough. She listens as Nicholas shares his anger and confusion as Camilla talks about missing their old life. They don't have all the answers, but for the first time, they are truly present with each other, seen, heard, understood. In the days that follow, Marisol keeps her promise. She starts new routines with her children, Sunday breakfasts, evening walks, small moments of connection. She sets boundaries at work, telling Daniel she needs a more flexible schedule to be there for her family. With Gabby's encouragement, she joins a support group for single parents, where she learns to share her struggles without shame. It isn't easy. There are setbacks, nights when the loneliness creeps back in, mornings when the kids are distant again. But Marisol is different now. She doesn't hide her feelings. She talks to her children, invites them to share their own. She learns that strength isn't about pretending to be okay, but about allowing yourself to be vulnerable, to reach out when you need help. Nicholas slowly opens up, joining Marisol on her morning walks before school. Camila, inspired by her mother's honesty, starts drawing pictures of their family as it is now. Messy, but together. Marisol's relationship with her children, once strained and silent, grows warmer and more honest. She learns to forgive herself for the things she can't change, and to celebrate the small victories, the laughter at the dinner table, the quiet moments of understanding. One evening, after a long day, Marisol finds herself alone in the kitchen again. This time, though, she isn't crying. Camilla is finishing homework at the table, humming to herself. Nicholas is loading the dishwasher, earbuds dangling from his neck, glancing at Marisol now and then to check if he's doing it right. Marisol looks at her children, really sees them, and feels something she hasn't felt in a long time: hope. She smiles at them, and they smile back, the connection between them real and alive. She realizes that she is no longer invisible. Her children have seen her pain, her love, her effort. And she has seen them too. As the sun sets behind the city skyline, painting the apartment walls in shades of pink and gold, Marisol gathers her children close. They sit together on the couch, wrapped in a faded quilt, sharing stories and laughter. The wounds are still there, but healing has begun. They are a family, not perfect but present, and that is enough. If you've ever felt invisible or struggled to connect with the people you love, I hope Marisol's story reminds you that you're not alone. Sometimes, the bravest thing we can do is let ourselves be seen, messy feelings, flaws, and all. Have you ever had a moment when someone finally understood how you felt? Share your story in the comments below. I'd love to hear how you found connection in hard times. If Marisol's journey moved you, please give this video a like and consider subscribing for more real-life stories about resilience, hope, and family. And don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss an episode that might help you feel a little less alone. Thank you for being here. Remember, even in your hardest moments, you are seen, you are valued, and you matter.